Appreciate you, John. It's Saturday in St. Pete, Tropicana Field, the site of Game 2, the Dodgers series against the Major League Baseball leading Tampa Bay Rays. And the Dodgers going to try and get back to their winning ways, having dropped 2 in a row. Oral Hershiser, Kirsten Watson, and Steven Nelson with you this afternoon. And Oral, the common theme in those back-to-back losses, one against Atlanta and one against Tampa Bay, was the offense failing to capitalize with runners in scoring position.
Right. You know, you can carry a team when you hit the home runs. This team knows how to hit home runs, but when you set the table and don't get people in, that's pretty tough. Yesterday was not very good. Coming out of Atlanta, 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. They've got to get that going.
Yeah, 11 left on base for the Dodgers in the series opener. And we said at the outset of the series, this is celebrating a World Series rematch from 2020. Well, today we have the rematch within the rematch. Clayton Kershaw against Tyler Glasnow. They faced each other twice in the Fall Classic. Clayton picking up 2 W's.
Yeah, and when you think about Clayton dominating there, that's got to be a good feeling for him coming off of 2 rough outings here in May. And for Glasnow, this is his Major League debut for this season. He's pitched here for 4 years. He's done very, very well. But the biggest problem with him is injuries, whether it's forearm tightness that led to Tommy John surgery or an oblique that has shut him down this year so far. But the numbers coming from AAA really have duplicated the success he's had at the big league level.
When Glasnow's right, he is filthy. For Clayton Kershaw, he started the year with pure filth the month of April. In May rather, he's taken a step back. Of course, coming back off the bereavement list. We'll send it down to Kirsten Watson, who has more on the physical condition right now of 22.
Yeah, so for Clayton Kershaw, after his last start, Dave Roberts shared with us that he felt that Clayton has been dealing with some body fatigue. So he went home, had that time with his family. Now that he has returned back to the team, he told us yesterday that he's feeling a lot better. He had a light bullpen session yesterday, and he was adamant that he wanted to keep his start to get back on track today, guys.
Cannot wait to see Clayton's return to the mound. He'll have to wait a half frame because Tyler Glasnow has the first pitch to Mookie Betts when we come back on Sportsnet LA.
Series at the Trop in Tampa St. Pete. Clayton Kershaw getting the start today. Jerry, we know this. He can certainly hold runners on base better than Noah Syndergaard can, and that could be important today against a team that leads all of baseball in stolen bases.
Extremely important, and guess what? The other side understands that as well. So he should shut down that running game if they get on base. You got Clayton Kershaw on the mound. When he's on, he is tough to hit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a guy that has done a really good job his whole career holding runners on, and so, you know, it's about keeping them at first base. If they do get at first base, don't let them get to second, third, or home, and having the offense give them support.
Been dealing with a little bit of body fatigue his last couple starts. Dave Roberts said, Adrian, anything you'll be looking for from Kersh today or watching for, knowing that he's been dealing with a little bit of fatigue?
Well, I mean, if you focus on the fatigue that happens in the game, within the game, the ball starts coming up in the zone a little bit, and you don't execute the pitches as well. So that is what I'm looking for. If there is fatigue, I'm going to look for making sure he's executing pitches from the first pitch on.
All right, it's Kersh against Tyler Glasnow of the Tampa Bay Rays. First pitch is coming your way right after this.
Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Nissan. At Nissan, we make cars that thrill. Experience that thrill for yourself today. Shop NissanUSA.com. And by Jack in the Box. Try the Ribeye Steakhouse burgers right now at Jack in the Box. Tropicana Field, or Tampa St. Pete's version of the Roman Coliseum. The Dodgers and Rays clashing for a second game. And in the opener, the top of the order did all the heavy lifting for the Dodgers. Freddie extended his hitting streak to 15 games. Will Smith is now 7 for his last 12. And JD Martinez, he's got a 10-gamer going. And it's now time for the Bounty Quick Stats, highlighting the number 2 through 4 hitters for the Dodgers. Were 6 for 12 combined on Friday. How about the starting lineup today for Dave Roberts and the Dodgers? And that first 5, the same as it was yesterday with Mookie and right. Freddie at first, Will catching, JD Martinez as the DH, Max Muncy at third. Jason Hayward comes into the starting lineup for LA, starting in center field, batting 6 in front of Miguel Vargas at second, David Peralta in left, and Miguel Rojas at short. It is the 2023 debut for the 29-year-old Tyler Glasnow.
Tyler is a guy that wants to stay healthy, but when healthy, he has been outstanding. If you go back 4 years, you're looking at those stats right there, but a forearm tightness, a Tommy John surgery, and an oblique injury have really kept him out of the big leagues and on the IL. Well, this is his debut tonight, and it's going to be fastball, curveball, slider, and changeup. The fastball is electric. Now, this is only stats from 2 starts in 22 and 2 starts in 21. You can see in 22, he eliminated a pitch, the changeup. We'll see if he brings that back into the game tonight.
StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud, highlighting what Tyler Glasnow is working with. You see his numbers the last handful of years. When he's been out there at 100%, he's a really tough pitcher to face. Had an oblique strain, suffered in late February. And hasn't pitched in the big league since then. 4 starts in AAA Durham. Last one on Sunday, went 6 full with 6 strikeouts. His first pitch to Mookie Betts, 97 miles per hour, in for strike 1. And it's a huge boost for the Tampa Bay Rays, who started the year with a ton of rotation depth and talent, but they've taken some big hits in the first month and a half. 98 high. Jeffrey Springs, one of the breakout pitchers from last year, he is down for the year with Tommy John surgery. And then Drew Rasmussen has a flexor tendon strain, and his return is uncertain.
The same injury that Dustin May has on the Dodgers side, and the Dodgers have taken some huge hits to their rotation. So yeah, both of these front-running clubs, one in the American League, one in the National League, have really come through some injuries.
I mean, the Dodgers have a whole nasty rotation on the IL right now.
Well, if you include Walker Buehler, holy smokes, yeah, a few aces and guys that can be a number 2, number 3.
Glasnow's 2-2 to Betts. Mookie puts it in the air to center field. Siri has plenty of room to work with. Now Freddie's rolling 15 straight games with a knock, 17 straight getting on base.
Freddie is almost boring when you watch his approach in the batter's box, but you know what? The production is not boring at all. I'm going to move the rosin bag out there down a little lower. Got the white spikes on. That's got to be a tad of a distraction from a guy with his height, his leg kick.
A lot of leg in this matchup, Glasnow versus Freddie Freeman. Freddie listed at 6'5", Glasnow standing at 6'8". Freddie swings through strike 1. Glasnow wasn't always tall, though. When he was a freshman in high school, he was 5'8". By the time he was a senior, he had sprouted up to 6'6". He grew 2 more inches in pro ball. 98.
Buy very cheap jeans because you're going to have to keep buying them. Buy the ones where you roll them up and then every month just roll them down a little bit more.
Pride of the baseball factory that has been Hart High School in Santa Clarita, and he strikes Freddie Freeman out for the second out of the first inning.
That's a nasty breaking ball. Look how long this looks as a fastball and then breaks sharp at the end. The good breaking balls break. The really good breaking balls have that kind of finish at the end where they just bite.
More than a dozen from Hart High as Will Smith watches ball 1. And then you go from James Shields to Bob Walk. My guy Kevin Millar to Todd Zeal.
Kevin Millar.
Yeah.
A name from your past.
That's right. 2-0 on Will, who was 2 for 3 last night in the opener. Drove in a run, walked once. 3 consecutive multi-hit games for Smith. His average is up to 325 in 2023. Ahead of Glasnow, 3-0. That's a 2-out walk for Will.
So you get Mookie Betts out, you strike out Freddie Freeman, and then you show so much respect to Will Smith. That shows you the resume and how they're trying to make great pitches to Will Smith, even with the 2 resumes in front of him.
And a resume behind him in J.D. Martinez, who's added to it the last 10 games. A hit in each of those contests, 2 for 5 in the opener. Has 7 extra base hits during this hot stretch with 13 driven in.
He is scalding right now. Smith is not in scoring position, but J.D. Martinez right now, he's in scoring position when he steps in the box.
And they needed him with Max Muncy, James Outman, and Chris Taylor kind of going the other way of late. James getting another day off. Dave Roberts said it'd be good to watch today, especially with Tyler Glasnow out there, but Outman will be in the starting lineup tomorrow morning. A generous call for strike 1 for Glasnow. 1 ball, 1 strike.
So he's going 96-97 with the fastball. He's got the slider around 89 to 90, and then he drops down even farther when he gets to the curveball and the changeup. Curveball we saw earlier was around 86. He'll go 84 to 86 with that. So he's got a nice range.
1-2. JD down swinging, 2 strikeouts in Glasnow's first inning of 2023. Now Clayton Kershaw's turn when we come back. The starting lineup for Kevin Cash and the Tampa Bay Rays, a lineup that so far this year has bashed 99 home runs. He scored 9 against the Dodgers last night. This 30th game with at least 6 runs already this year, the most of any team in Major League Baseball. And today, not a lefty in sight. You have a couple switch hitters in Franco batting second and Walls batting 8th, but they want right-handed bats against the left-hander Clayton Kershaw. He rejoined the team yesterday off the bereavement list. First pitch to Yandy Diaz fouled away. Kershaw and his entire family spending time together following the passing of his mother Mary Ann. Passed away on the 13th of the month. This is outside. You know, Ellen, Clayton's wife, broke the news to everybody at Edward Vincent Park in Inglewood at the opening of a new field. The Dodgers Dream Fields continue their great work in the community, and Ellen said that Marianne would sit in the front row cheering him on, and not so subtly keeping score in a scorebook to keep her nerves at bay.
You really have to separate the reality of life and then going out and being a competitor. And if there's anybody that has the tools to do it, it's Clayton Kershaw.
Yandy Diaz down swinging. That's not easy to do, but a strikeout begins the afternoon for 22.
The slider has abandoned him in the first 4 starts of May. That is the pitch that he throws the most. He throws the most with 2 strikes. But in May, the statistics have not been as good as April. You see the number of hits off of it compared to outs, and it's 6 starts compared to 4 starts so far.
First pitch strike to Wander Franco. Yeah, last couple of starts we've seen from Clayton, something we've never seen in his career.
Well, the number of innings, we're used to him going deep into games, and this is the first time in his career that he hasn't pitched past the 4th inning in back-to-back starts. That's quite an accomplishment. Even though it's a negative, it's a ridiculous accomplishment with his resume and all the innings that he has logged and all the great wins in the World Championship against these Tampa Bay Rays.
Grounded to third. 2 up, 2 down. Clayton already has 1 strikeout, and if he and the Dodgers get up to 10, everyone gets a free Jumbo Jack on Sunday at Jack in the Box in the LA area if you buy a large drink. I mean, you look at Freddie Freeman for the Dodgers, Yandy Diaz for the Rays. Those are 2 of the best in the business at avoiding the strikeout, and the best at producing with 2 strikes, and both of them had their tickets punched here in the first frame. The DH Harold Ramirez. The 28-year-old from Colombia shoots one down the first base line. Mookie quickly over, 2-out base hit.
Clayton is in the zone, and that's the other thing we noticed with his May starts compared to his April starts is the zone percentage is below league average in May. But right now against these Rays, he is filling it up. And with the aggressiveness of the Rays yesterday and overall, it could either be he going to go through them like a hot knife through butter, or they're going to be aggressive and get their hits.
Chance of Randy and MVP for Randy Arozarena. Gets a strike from Kershaw. The Rays offense exploded in the opener, and that was despite this man being held 0 for 3.
They are the #1 slugging club and average club against right-handed sliders, but against left-handed sliders, which Clayton throws the most, you know, they're in the middle of the pack as far as average, but the slug is still up there in the upper third.
The 1-1 coming to the 2020. Balk called. And so that awards second base for Ramirez in scoring position for Arozarena.
Brian O'Nora, the crew chief over there, and I'm not so sure what Clayton did. It must have been breaking the 45-degree angle going to first, but he stepped towards first, threw to first, which is correct. But the angle of the stride, he must have said, no, that's not a balk. It's not even close to a balk. But you can't argue it or you're going to get kicked out.
It's doing too much.
Even Dave Roberts can't argue it.
Strike 2 at the bottom of the zone. Arozarena, the second straight day we've seen him not so subtly show his displeasure with his body language.
Even if that was borderline as far as a balk, there's no respect for Clayton's resume there.
Poked in the air, right field. Betts charging in. Calls off Vargas for the third and final out of the first inning. Now they can laugh about it. Vargas is due up third in the second inning. Just getting on the same page here. The T-Mobile coverage cam welcoming you back for the second inning in St. Pete. Flashing back. Game 5, 2020 World Series. Get out and get off me. Max Muncy. And Max is that bat drop going. There's nothing better, man. We're going to try and channel some of those vibes here to snap out of some recent skidding against Glasnow. Against whom he's 2 for 6 lifetime. Our producer Mike Levy just confirmed that that ball did just land. Max ripped to right field. Gone. That's how you put an 0 for 5 behind you with your 16th of the year. The Dodgers up 1-0.
Approximately the same pitch he hit off of him in the World Series in Game 5. Christian Bethancourt sits right down the middle for every pitch for a lot of these Rays pitchers, but especially for Glasnow, because they don't think you can hit the target every time. Well, that one he hit the target right down the middle, slightly above the belt. Muncy didn't miss it.
Saw that exhale from Max in the dugout.
He has such a great eye, and you start to worry about him that a slump is coming on when he starts missing pitches in the middle of the plate. And that really is what his slumps are built on. They're not built on chasing, because his eye is great and he always continues to get his walks. But it's pitches like that, when he's hitting them, that's when he's hot.
Jason Hayward got a piece of 96 straight back into the netting. 2 balls, 2 strikes. First action of this series for Jason, who's bringing with him a 4-game hit streak. 3 extra base hits, including a homer. He's 6 for his last 14. Called out on strikes.
It's been fastball, slider as the 2 main pitches, but when the curveball is thrown, that has turned out to be a strikeout. All 3 I've seen with the curveball at 84, so changing speeds, taking it down the scale, but dropping it in with the hammer for a strike.
Now Miguel Vargas. The Dodgers against Glasnow in the first inning. They swung the bat 7 times and missed 5 of them. Max, he did not miss. First homer since the 18th of the month.
Slider away, that has been the least effective pitch as far as hitting the strike zone. It's been fastball he's got for strikes, slider he's hoping for chases, and curveball he's using to put people away. There's the chase he looks for on that one.
Well, the slider is the newest pitch for Tyler Glasnow. For the vast majority of his career, it was fastball, curveball. I mean, similar to how Clayton Kershaw started, right? And Clayton tells the story all the time where that 3rd pitch was worked on out of a necessity. He wasn't going to stay in the big leagues if he didn't have a 3rd one, so he started throwing a slider, and Glasnow's been trying to work on that. He strikes out Miguel Vargas back-to-back here in the 2nd inning, 4 in the game.
Home run, looking strikeout, and now this swinging strikeout at the top of the zone. A little bit higher, just barely a ball higher than the one Muncy hit out.
Now faces former teammate David Peralta. Played together down the stretch in 2022. Glasnow came off the injured list at the end of the regular season last year following Tommy John surgery in the summer of 2021. 2 regular season starts and 1 more in the wild card series against Cleveland. It's a sword from DP. I mean, he was great in that wild card game, and it stayed scoreless until the 15th inning, and Cleveland walked off the Rays and knocked Tampa Bay out of the postseason. Yeah, 3 Ks in a row for Glasnow, 5 on the game, but the 2nd inning started with a big swing from Max Muncy. It was 2 for 28 between home runs. That one got out in a hurry. Second inning of work set to begin for Clayton Kershaw, and he's got a 1-0 lead thanks to Max Muncy's solo home run. A strike to Isaac Paredes. Kershaw in that first inning, just 15 pitches, 2-out base hit. Soft contact from Harold Ramirez, no contact there from Paredes. It was a balk, 2nd of the year for Kersh, the other one being from 3 disengagements. There wasn't a lot there. I mean, you're still kind of baffled by that call, and Clayton had a conversation after the inning.
Brian Ornora, the crew chief, and you know, it's interesting because you can't argue a balk, but I'm sure that Clayton approached him with, I'm not arguing, I just would love an explanation so I don't do it again. You just kind of soft pedal it over at the umpire. Brian was very nice, kind of walked him halfway to the dugout.
Yeah, it was a calm conversation the whole way.
Yeah, and you don't have to come set if you're throwing to a base. So if he told him, well, you didn't stop, well, you don't have to. And if he told him you stepped on the wrong angle, looking like you went home, that's not what I saw. So I don't understand where the balk was.
Kershaw gets Paredes.
Well, he started off hot again. It's 5 for 5 with first pitch strikes, and then he finishes them with the slider. And The slider has been 3 of the outs. The curveball has been 1 of the outs.
Going to bring about Christian Bethancourt. Bumped up in the order. We saw him last night. The catcher went 3 for 4 with a pair of doubles, along with an RBI single and 2 runs scored. And that Rays 9-3 win. Kirsten, we saw Clayton's reaction to the balk. How about his teammates and coaches in the dugout?
Yeah, they all had his back. There was definitely some frustration from the dugout, and even I overheard some guys just saying, you know, he's been doing that his whole career. So it's something that obviously they called it a balk, but the team was definitely expressing frustration over here.
Thanks for that insight, Kirsten. That echoes what you're saying up there. No respect for somebody who's been doing this for more than a decade and a half. Climbs the ladder. Punched the ticket of Bethancourt. Back-to-back Ks for Kirsch.
Well, the only thing I could see from the replay as we watch another strikeout, 8 out of 11 outs in this game have come via the punch out. Clayton's pickoff to first. The only thing that he has done forever is that slight lean towards home as he picks up his leg and delivers the ball to first. That's about the only thing I could see that Brian Honora would say, you know, that is a balk, but that would be a terrible thing, because if you're that consistent and you've done it your whole career, I think they usually leave it alone.
Ground ball left side. 1, 2, 3. The Rays down in order in the second inning. Means 1-0 LA. 10 pitches for Kirsch.
MLB is partnering with Crisis Text Hotline to increase mental health awareness and access to support. For free, 24/7 and confidential supports available in English and Spanish. Text MLB to 741-741.
One reminder here in Mental Health Awareness Month. One ball, one strike on Miguel Rojas, who's starting things off for the Dodgers in the third inning, leading the Rays 1-0.
We mentioned that the Dodgers have not been hitting a lot of home runs in the last 2 losses, and they need to hit with runners in scoring position. So they got both going now. They got the home run by Muncy and set the table, and let's get some risp going.
Ooh, ground ball right back at Glasnow. Got a glove on it. Flips to Diaz for the first out.
Look what I found. The glove is on that side with a little half turn from the foul through, and then a one hopper kind of finds his waist and the leather.
Back to the top of the order and Mookie Betts. Strike 1 from Glasnow. First start of the year for star righty. Had an oblique strain. Ryan Pepio's been dealing with. It's still going to be a while before the Dodgers can welcome him back. Before that, the mountain that Glasnow had to climb was coming back from Tommy John. You see that hook in there for a second strike on Mookie. Misses now with ball 1. And it happened in June of 2021. Starting on the 14th of the month in Chicago. Left the game after 4 innings and was diagnosed with torn UCL. Had Tommy John surgery in August. It's 1-2 to Betts. 98 by Mookie. 6 strikeouts now for Glasnow. And Glasnow, with being a very outspoken player and an emotional one after the injury, he was very upset with Major League Baseball at the time, because remember, that was right as the league was instituting the crackdown on foreign substances on the mound, right in the middle of the season. And at the time, he was pitching like a Cy Young contender. You know, the Rays were off to a 100-win season, but he said the rollout, you know, for a guy who used sunscreen and rosin, and felt like he had to quit cold turkey. Now Freddie gets one going to right field. Freddie off the wall. Margot's going to play it. His throw back in to second. Freddie slides in safe. It's a 2-out double for Freddie Freeman.
Well, Freddie Freeman is a headsy ball player. We know he's a great base runner. When this ball goes out, he's thinking double. Why is he thinking double when it's such a close play with the way this ball caroms off the right field wall? Well, he's thinking double because there's 2 outs. So there is no hesitation, no reading of the ball. It's like, I got to get the second no matter what. He goes for it. The risk reward, he gets the reward.
Worry with a slide like that, but he's up and okay. And he stays streaking. 16 straight with a hit, 18 straight getting on base safely.
Getting back to your story on Glasnow and the sticky stuff or the sunscreen and rosin, which a lot of guys use to have some tackiness on their hand. The moment you go from a tacky grip where you don't have to recruit as much muscle fiber in your arm and in your body, especially your abs and your rib cage, and then you go to a ball that feels slippery because they're rubbed up with the dirt, and then that dries and they can be a little bit slippery sometimes. Use a little moisture from your neck, maybe your sweat, a little rosin, maybe you get it a tad tacky, but you got to recruit more muscles and have a stronger grip pressure when you go to throw the ball. And in doing that, he probably felt that tension go all the way down his arm from his elbow to his shoulder and into his rib cage, and it was too quick an adjustment to recruit new fibers that weren't used as often as when it was tacky.
Ball 2 bounce to Smith, count level. Bethancourt fires down right by Glasnow. And Freddie's back safely.
I mean, some people would say he needs a haircut, but not from a baseball going to second.
Glasnow thinks he's just getting the ball back.
So the umpire, when the ball's in the dirt, was going to exchange the ball and calls time early before really the play was over. He was anticipating the fact that he was going to exchange the ball and really didn't give Bethancourt a moment there to make the pickoff.
Two pitch coming from Glasnow. Smith battling. Will's now reached in 11 of his last 16 plate appearances after his first inning walk. The chance for a 2-out ribby with Freddie in scoring position.
Last game in Atlanta, they were 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Yesterday, 3 for 14. Will here with the first opportunity today to drive in Freddie Freeman.
Puts it on the ground on the right side. Taylor Walls goes to Diaz. So Freddie's 2-out double stranded, but the Dodgers continue to lead the game 1-0. Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Carl's Jr., where all your charbroiled burger wishes come true. The Dodgers are wishing that Max Muncy would snap out of it. He did that, launching a solo home run, leading off the second inning. But the Dodgers up 1-0. Clayton Kershaw continues to deliver first pitch strikes. Taylor Walls pulls it to left. Peralta hustling in, not going to get there. So he plays it on the bounce. Second hit of the game for the Rays, both singles.
These Rays are aggressive. That's a slider that he wanted. Well, it's really a fastball, but it has a little cutting action. I won't tell Clayton that I said that on the air.
Oh, you do not.
Do not call my fastball a cutter. You know what I really like, though? The velocity, 91-92. The body is feeling strong.
Bottom of the order, Jose Siri. Ball 1 high. In the opener, Siri extended his little hitting streak to 4 games. A 2-for-4 effort. And a 2-run blast in the later stages to kind of put this one to bed. His 9th of the year.
Lately, there has been pop, but with this kind of speed, he does have the strength. And lately, it's been hitting it hard on the correct launch angle.
Yeah, like his teammate Harold Ramirez, Series already eclipsed his home run output from all of 2022. Brian O'Nora said he did go. Yep. One ball, 2 strikes. Siri didn't bite. Did he? Yep. Number 4 for Kershaw. Siri trying to argue his case to no avail.
9 up, 4 down with the strikeout for Clayton Kershaw. Big difference compared to other outings he's had in May. Getting back on track right here.
The first strikeout was this man, Yandy Diaz, leading off the game. First pitch strike. Diaz has reached safely in 20 consecutive games for Tampa Bay. Returned to the lineup yesterday after missing 3 due to a family issue. Picked up where he left off. And during the stretch, too, it's not that he's just walking. He is mashing. 6 homers, 14 extra base hits. 18 runs scored. Has 3 more walks than strikeouts all season. Good pick by Freddie at first. Walls on first certainly has the attention of Clayton Kershaw. Picked up a couple of bags yesterday. Perfect on the year. Diaz tried to hold up, and he did. But it isn't just Walls. It's top to bottom. This lineup will run all over you. 66 stolen bases, tops in Major League Baseball.
They figured out something about jumps. They're studying a lot of times and the whole equation, and they do have team speed.
Walls goes, hit and run, put on. Diaz to right field. Mookie's got it. Walls has to hustle back. But with Mookie's momentum carrying him toward the wall, there won't be a throw on Walls. Well, we saw yesterday the Rays getting doubled up, and Brandon Lau forgot how many outs there were. It was in the 7th inning.
Not a hit and run, it's a run and hit, and it almost worked for the Rays, but Mookie with his range and sure hands. Now you got to give up because Miguel Vargas and Miguel Rojas were deking him, making him think it was a ground ball at the crack of the bat.
Ball in the dirt, and gives Walls all the time he needs to head to second.
The curveball is short. Yeah, whether you're running or not, they're going to advance a base right here on this one. You can see even the secondary lead was a little short and just read the ball in the dirt.
So Walls into scoring position on the wild pitch. One out to Franco. Top of the zone for strike 1. Franco, or El Patron, as he's known around these parts. Fantastic nickname for the youngster, 22 years old. Held to just 83 games last year with a couple of injuries. Had a quad strain and then had surgery on his hamate bone. And he is a game-changing talent. Switch hitter waiting for the 2-1. Will tried to pull it back in, didn't get the call. 3 balls, 1 strike. And baseball in his family. His mother is Nancy Ibar, whose brothers, Eric and Willie, both played Major League Baseball. Eric a dozen years, 10 with the Angels. Willie 5 years, including 3 here in Tampa Bay. Walls taking off for third. He ain't gonna get there. First time this season that Walls has been thrown out on the base paths. Now we wait to see if Tampa Bay wants the crew to put some headsets on. Ooh, good slide.
They might review that.
Yeah, they're going to. Good slide by Walls.
It's the interesting thing about the head first slide, and you put the tag down before replay. This is an out, and it wouldn't be any review, of course, but it definitely would be an out, even though the tag might not have reached him before the left hand gets to the bag. So guys are doing more of the swim moves. They're doing more of the reach around and try and grab the bag from both sides. And that was a kind of a half swim move where you give one hand to direct the tag and then you pull that hand back and go in with the other hand.
Yeah, the athleticism that we see on the bases now, and look, and this is what the league was trying to highlight and showcase more with the rules changes. And the fans here at the Trop, Rays fans anyways, there are a lot of Dodger fans in attendance too, celebrating their view on the video boards.
Well, think about how out he is if it was a force play. So he is so out. But now that you've got to get the glove down in plenty of time, but you got to get the tag on him. Talk about the risk of stealing third when you're already in scoring position at second, but they did it yesterday. Showing the finesse and athleticism of a slide that makes it very effective. Still 100% in his stolen base ratio.
He's getting closer to Wander Franco for the team lead in stolen bases. Franco has 18. Now the Rays first in home runs and stolen bases. Think about that. It's been a long time since we've seen one team win both those titles in the same year. The last time, the 1955 Brooklyn Dodgers.
The interesting thing about that 90 feet with Clayton Kershaw on the mound, we just saw a bounce curveball a little earlier that he got to second base on. Wild pitch. Well, that is in the back of your mind. You don't want to just give away a run by trying to bounce a curveball to get somebody out.
First and third, 2 away. Harold Ramirez fouls back, strike 1. Ramirez, one of the Rays having a career year so far. The strike into the seats. He's earned the nickname Barreled Ramirez.
Usually when it's Barrels, it's the second name. They'll go like Donnie Barrels or Johnny Barrels. Don't start with Barrels.
Clayton throwing back to first base. You saw him look down right as he was starting to throw over there based on that balk that he got called for earlier.
Well, if he's looking down, then it was the balk was called because of the angle of the stride towards first.
2-strike pitch to Ramirez is high. Count even.
That's a risk with a man on third. Is the umpire really a little upset with me? Am I going to do something that he calls a balk again? It's going to cost you a run this time.
And he'll tail out a play. Ramirez staying alive. Walls on third, Franco on first. .22 pitches this inning for 22. Pitch 23, bounces short. Rojas up with it, throws across. That keeps Tampa Bay off the board, and the Dodgers remain in front as we finish the last of the third.
On the next episode of Backstage Dodgers, presented by Cadillac, Freddie Freeman and Jason Hayward share entertaining stories about their time coming up in the Braves organization and discuss reuniting as teammates on the Dodgers. And top pitching prospect Bobby Miller joins the team in Atlanta to make his major league debut. Don't miss Backstage Dodgers. That's June 2nd.
Bobby won that debut. Last victory the Dodgers celebrated on this road trip. Back-to-back games. Now need to win the next two here in Tampa Bay, not just to take this series, but to finish the road trip at 5-5.
The last time a Dodger debut by a rookie was posting with a W like Bobby, you got to go back to 2018. That was a special day. 2016. I apologize. Dr. Krajewski just corrected me. Changed my prescription.
4, 5, and 6 due up for the Dodgers here in the fourth inning. Trying to add to this 1-0 lead against Tyler Glasnow, making his first start of 2023. Let's pop back out of play. We got one of the rings here at Tropicana Field. So there are some unique ground rules at the Trop. So there are lettered rings. You got the A, B, C, and D. Now, if a ball is in the air, hits one of the catwalks, Martinez, laced to left field, gets all the way to the corner. JD Martinez pushes the hit streak to 11, leading off the fourth with a double. Ball was scalded.
This one's not going to hit one of the rings, but it is hit hard enough if it was hit high enough to hit one. But this one down the line and doing fine.
On base for Max Muncy. First time up against Glasnow. Took one to right field at 108.9 off the bat. Third hardest hit ball of the season. Max knew it. Manny Margot did a 360 for courtesy.
I like that. That's pretty cool. That is more of that, please.
You're into it.
Yeah, that was, you know, there are some of those that get produced and work on it, but this is cool.
Oral saying that because he drew every one of those figurines that you see.
That's why I didn't get much rest.
Went 408.
That hit.
Okay.
That's a little help, but that hit, of course, was an extra base hit. The Dodgers have 3 hits. All are extra base hits. When last night only had 1 extra base hit. So driving the ball today.
Going to match the power from the right arm of Glasnow. Max on a line to right. Hits the wall. Martinez will score easily. 2 ribbies for Muncy. 2-0 Dodgers.
The mirror image of JD Martinez's double. Pretty much the same carom, the same down the line. And a routine double when you hit it here and hit it this hard. Both guys hit it hard. Both guys could have hit home runs. But Max with a little topspin on this one.
He takes the place of Martinez. So now Muncy's 4 for 8 lifetime against Glasnow. Ball 1 to Jason Hayward. Jason checks up, but it's in there for a strike. So those line drive hits that we're seeing are counteracting the point we're trying to make about the elevation here at the Trop with the rings. As we wait the 1-1 from Glasnow. Strike 2 poured in. So in the A and B rings, those are closest to like the center of the dome, the very top. So if the ball strikes any part of the A or B rings and falls in fair territory, it's in play. It can be caught by a fielder now. C and D rings a little different, as that one's hit hard up the middle. Nicely stopped by Franco, who spins and fires to first. Max moves up to third on the play, first out of the 4th inning. C and D ring, if a ball's in the air and hits one of the catwalks or the poles, support beams, or the lights in fair territory, that's a home run. Snyder is out talking with Glasnow. We get a quick word from Morongo.
Latin Sundays, live music and dancing at the sideline stage.
It may feel a little disappointing to watch that ground out, but it does move the runner over to third with less than 2 outs. And after back-to-back doubles down each line, it's like, oh, Jason Heyward didn't get a hit. Well, no, he did his job.
Max is doing his job today. Has as many hits and ribbies today as he had the last 7 games combined. Slider in for a strike to Miguel Vargas. Got a piece of 97, a fastball. I remember covering the American League postseason bubble in 2020 down at Petco, and Glasnow was talking at the time about I'm working on a third pitch. I need a third pitch, just not ready to roll it out yet. They were trying and workshopping the slider, but in 2019, a forearm issue popped up, so they didn't want him throwing sliders then, as he yanked that fastball. Then the shortened 2020 season, didn't want to play around with it. And in 2021, he was rolling before he went down with the torn UCL.
The problem with a new toy is not that it immediately hurts when you throw it for, let's say, a half a dozen times.
Strike 3, pinpoint.
The problem with the new toy is that if you have success with it, the catcher, the manager, the pitching coach want to continue to call it and convert it into the game. Well, then you throw too many of them using those new muscles or new angles. And so, yeah, you risk injury. So if you can have enough discipline to bring a new toy into your arsenal and have success, but still keep the reps down, that's the best way to bring it along. Because there are different stresses on your arm, your hand, your elbow, your shoulder, and all the way down into your rib cage and abs, depending on how you hold the ball and what grip you're using and what you're thinking about during that pitch.
98 at the shins, called strike 2.
No matter what grip I put in my glove and what pitch I was thinking about, I always thought about throwing a fastball. Because it's amazing when you see curveball sign or slider sign or changeup sign, your body in your first movements want to kind of replicate what was called instead of repeating your delivery and then only letting the grip
do the work.
And that's why a lot of pitchers
spikes and bounces away from Bethancourt, and Muncy was going. Well read by Max at third base. 3-0 Dodgers.
Yeah, this is where Clayton Kershaw put one in the dirt, but there was only a man on first, and he moved up on the wild pitch. Well, this wild pitch cost them a run.
No hesitation from Max. You saw there, it was a great look.
Yeah, as far as it got away, yeah, it didn't really necessarily need a great break, but well, if it only rolls away about 10 feet, he still scores. But the reason that a lot of pitchers can't throw all their pitches out of the same window is because they're not repeating the mechanics below the grip, and so all of a sudden the ball's starting to come out from different places with different angles. But if you can repeat your delivery below all these different grips, you get a lot of good window action as far as showing the hitter the same trajectory, the same ball flight before all of a sudden the grip and the spin takes over.
That's now up to 73 pitches. If you're wondering if there are any limitations on him today, he wasn't expecting any. He said, I'm just going to pitch each inning. When they tell me to go out, I will. They say don't, I won't. Peralta pulls a knock into right field. 2-out base runner for the Dodgers, trying to keep things moving.
Every hit before this one was an extra base hit. This one's just a measly little single on a breaking ball that he stays on. They pulled the string on him in his last at bat, and he swung at a couple balls in the dirt that were off speed. This one a little bit more patient, stayed back and got the barrel on it.
The last of the order, Miguel Rojas. Ooh. Big hack, no contact. 0-1.
I see what you did there. Big hack, no contact. It's not bad. I think it's coming along.
Okay. Nod of approval. Take it.
I like it.
Foul back by Miggy Rowe, who grounded out 1-3 in the third inning. It's 2 strikes on him. The Dodgers 3 hits this inning. All 3 have been with 2 strikes. Bethancourt tried. Glasnow was efforting a sell, didn't get the call. Miguel Rojas, his last 16 games has 16 hits. Trying to bring that bat into form to match his glove work. Could not hold up. Tossed the bat in frustration. 8 strikeouts for Glasnow through 4 innings of work, but 3 runs for the Dodgers.
Head to Dodger Stadium on Tuesday for Julio Urias City Connect Jersey Night, presented by Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel. For more information, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. And speaking of Julio Urias, today he was supposed to get off the mound to throw his first bullpen. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to do just that. He experienced a little bit of soreness after playing catch yesterday. So his timeline has slowed down a bit. Originally, he was penciled in to come back, hopefully next weekend against the Yankees. But it sounds like that's going to be pushed back. The next bullpen date for him is hopefully on Tuesday, guys.
All right. Thanks for the update, Kirsten. Hoping Julio comes back to 100% as soon as possible, but not too soon. Clayton Kershaw has fallen behind Randy Arozarena 3-0 to begin the bottom of the 4th. The Dodgers up 3-0. The scoreboard, a 4-pitch walk for Arozarena. Now a word from Carl's Jr.
Famous Star Burger tonight. My rewards members get exclusive offers on the Carl's Jr. app.
Now 2 walks the last 3 Rays face for Kirsch. Isaac Paredes was sent down swinging his first time up. Ball 1 up near the hands. 24-year-old from Hermosillo, Mexico. Played for his home country in the World Baseball Classic with his Rays teammate. He's batting behind Randy Arozarena, and then of course a pair of Dodgers, Julio and Austin Barnes. And you see Kevin Kelly up in the Tampa Bay bullpen. What do you think Smith's talking to Kershaw about? Because remember, I mentioned 2 walks, the last 3 batters, falling behind 2-0 here.
A little strategy, maybe a little bit. You know, I really believe in this pitch. Just give me some strikes. You might also be saying, you know what? What's the most comfortable pitch right now? We'll go away from the scouting report just to get you back in the strike zone.
Paredes has some pop. 7 consecutive balls for Clayton Kershaw.
like a long distance runner. When you hit a wall, you've got to push through that wall, and then all of a sudden on the other side you feel good again. And it happens for people at different times, depending on how strenuous it was, the pitches prior, depending on hydration and workload and all kinds of things. But this is the kind of the hump inning for Clayton.
Strike 2 fills up the count against Paredes.
Borderline, but it was a strike. But that was so risky as far as if the umpire calls that a ball, that's not going to feel real good. That's one thing that a lot of pitchers do. When you are not throwing strikes to home, you want to throw the ball to get a better feel, and you also want to move your body in a different way, so you pick off just to get your rhythm, kind of reboot your computer.
Reboot successful. 5 for Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, the pickoff does a couple things. It separates the pitches as far as the time between pitches, so you can get the hitter out of his rhythm and his vision, and then it also can reboot yourself and get you in a rhythm.
5 strikeouts for Kershaw and the Dodgers. 5 more. Everyone's getting a free Jumbo Jack tomorrow in the LA area with purchase of a large beverage, and with more 5 more strikeouts.
I'm saying there's Jumbo Jacks tomorrow. I think that I'll take the over.
Bethancourt not going to strike out. Pulls one to left field. Peralta will spin and fire back toward the infield. Another double for the catcher of the Rays. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out in the 4th.
This ball is up, and he kind of tomahawks it down there into the corner. It's a pitch that sometimes you see guys that don't get their hands above the ball, they pop up. But he does a nice job, short and quick to the ball, and keeps his hands elevated, which means the barrel's going to be up there by that ball. And that's what he did. Executed perfectly as far as that swing.
Bethancourt batting .500 his last 7 games. 9 for 18. 4 extra base hits, 3 of them doubles in this series.
Infield back. They're going to sacrifice a run for an out.
It's Manuel Margot. Curve loops in for a strike. Margot batting .244 coming into today. He's starting to come on a bit. Batting average north of 300 going back to the 26th of April. And he hits it hard into center field for a base hit. 2 runs will score. And it's a 1-run ball game.
You don't score as many runs as the Tampa Bay Rays have if the bottom of your order doesn't produce. And this is at the bottom of the order. The 7th hitter, Margot, just lines it back up the middle.
One on, one out, Taylor Walls.
Earlier they were 0 for 8 off of Clayton's breaking ball. Now they are 2 for 11, starting to catch up to a couple of the spinners.
Walls to left field, left center. Hayward calls off Peralta at the last second. 2 out.
2 left-handed throwers. The glove side is for Jason Hayward, and the other thing is he's the captain of the outfield. If they're both calling for it, Peralta knows to give up to the captain, and he does.
Every time Jose Siri steps up, you hear somebody, at least one person in the crowd, yell, "Hey, Siri!"
hit a home run.
Everybody's phones and watches go crazy. Ball in the dirt. A former Houston Astro came to Tampa Bay last summer, a 3-team trade, and ultimately had Trey Mancini land in Houston. Series taking his offensive game to another level with the Rays. Hit on the ground. Oh no. Vargas throws to first to get the third and final out. Had some issues with the ground ball at first, but he recovered. Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Long way from Southern California, we're in St. Petersburg, Florida. Game 2 of 3. The Dodgers and Rays. It's a 3-2 lead for LA. Manny Margot drove in the first 2 of the game in the bottom of the 4th for Tampa. Get on the board against Clayton Kershaw. It's a rematch within this 2020 World Series rematch. Kershaw and Tyler Glasnow both started twice in the Fall Classic. Games 1 and 5. Kershaw won both of them. In line for another here. Less breathing room to begin the 5th.
These possibly could be emotionally taxing games for the Dodgers. You know, they need to win here and tomorrow to have a 500 road trip. It's not as quick a turnaround tomorrow morning as it would be as if this was a legitimate night game. It's kind of a midday, 3/4 of the day through start time here in Tampa. But with that morning game, I'm sure both sides are not going to hit on the field. They're going to let guys sleep as much. And you're going to do the minimum to get ready for that game.
Two and 2 against Mookie. Mookie in the air, left center field. Going back to the track is Arozarena, and he's got it. You wonder, as we take another look at that fly ball off the bat of Betts, Arozarena in left, as he did throughout the World Baseball Classic, gobbled up everything. Tyler Glasnow's 2023 season debut is done after 83 pitches. He gets a standing ovation here at the Trop. Four and a third for Glasnow. 3 earned on 5 hits. He walked 1 and struck out 8. So last time for Who's In, Who's Out, brought to you by In-N-Out. Kevin Kelly, the righty, will take over against Freddie Freeman. Misses with ball 1. So the last 3 times the Dodgers have faced Tyler Glasnow, total of 13 2/3 innings. Glasnow has 23 strikeouts, but the Dodgers have 13 runs. Freddie 1 for 2, strikeout and a double. Glasnow, despite being injured last summer, the Rays agreed to a 2-year, $30.35 million extension. Do $25 million next season, so it'll keep him a Ray through 2024. And he's someone, because of his relationship with Kyle Snyder, the pitching coach, and the way that this organization has helped him blossom, he said he wants to be. Freddie's aboard with a 1-out walk. You wonder with that quick turnaround with the really early game on Sunday, what the lineup's going to look like for the Dodgers. Kirsten, do you have any insight there?
I sure do. So for Mookie Betts, he's going to move into the infield. Dave Roberts said he didn't decide if he's going to play at short or second just yet. Chris Taylor will be out there tomorrow. James Outman will be back in the lineup. He's just on another rest day, kind of getting things back on track. And then Austin Barnes is going to be behind the plate tomorrow, guys.
An off day for this man, Will Smith. First pitch from Kelly popped up right side of the infield, and Yandy Diaz underneath.
Sometimes you find out that you're playing tomorrow in a text after this game. Sometimes you find out a day or two before. Sometimes you find out on the plane as you're flying into a city how it's going to go as far as the series is concerned. And it's always, you know, if nothing else changes, this is what's on the map.
JD Martinez, Freddie Freeman, 1 for 2, strikeout and a double.
And the schedule of when you're going to play certain guys, of course, it has to do with the team and the pitcher of the opposing team, the workload of other guys. And you think it's really nice to know when you're going to. So the psychological thing. But the other thing is a workout is different. The pre-workout, the weight training, the cardio are all different when you come to the ballpark when you're going to start compared to when you're going to be on the bench or utility that day. Especially with relievers too, when you're talking about everyday players or guys that fill in. The relievers, they don't know all the time when they're down because, you know, maybe they pitch 2 days in a row. They want to know because they're going to really bust it in the weight room and the cardio if they know they're down for the day. And so their training changes. The only people that really have that consistent training and schedule are the starting pitchers. But theirs even gets adjusted when all of a sudden there's an off day and they're going to stick with the 5-man rotation. So now you have that extra day. What do you do with it when you get the extra day? What do you do with it when you only have 4 days rest? What do you do with it over All-Star break? And so all that scheduling and thought goes into getting their bodies at the best place as far as rest and training.
2-2 tails away, full count. Well, you'll be able to maintain a schedule tomorrow. You'll be working on the Peacock broadcast with Brian Anderson, Brendan Burke, and the NBC Sports crew.
Yep.
Rick Krajewski will be there with you.
Still take the Dodger team bus. Still get on the Dodger plane to get home. But
Kelly strikes out JD to end the 5th inning. The Dodgers lead stays 1.
Shakey's Pizza is celebrating our educators with the 2023 Spectrum Sports Educator Sweepstakes. 8 lucky winners will receive a $50 gift certificate from Shakey's Pizza plus a teaching kit. Enter online at spectrumeducator.com.
You got through it in time for Yandy Diaz to go F9 to Mookie Betts. Auctioneer.
The copy is in my monitor, but I have a feeling in the other corner of my eye, I see Clayton Kershaw winding up, so I'm figuring I'm in a time crunch.
Well, you know Clayton, I mean, he's basically on the mound before Kelly's crossed the white line. Wants to get back to work quickly. There's Wander Franco. So I mentioned Franco, familiar names from a major league standpoint, with his mother being related to Eric and Willie Ibar. But the name Wander Franco is familiar within his family because his father is named Wander Franco. And Wander has 2 older brothers who played in the minor leagues, both named Wander Franco. So you have Wander Alexander Franco and then Wander Javier Franco. And then here's Wander Samuel Franco Ibar Sr. So as this Wander Franco put it to my friend Jesse Sanchez of MLB.com. His dad wanted one of us to follow in his footsteps as a professional baseball player. He never made it to the big leagues, but he wanted us to take the same road and represent the family with the same name as him. And Wander Franco has done it. Freddie in foul territory spun around. Would have been one heck of a play. They're running toward the bullpens, running up.
We know Freddie is very good at tracking these balls, but boy, with this ceiling, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, the level of difficulty very high there for Freddie. Pulled on the ground, foul. Count remains 2-2.
This is the only place, unless you're in a day game with the bright sunshine, where he's going to run a route like that where he's that far off.
Another 2-2 from Kershaw. Sent into center by Franco in front of Hayward. Franco's first hit. He's aboard for the second time today. Right now, a word from California Community Colleges.
Start your future at a California community college. Enroll today and apply for financial aid at icangotocollege.com.
One aboard for Harold Ramirez is 1 for 2. You know, with Franco again, his father and his uncles played baseball professionally, but the two biggest influences he says he's had in his career. Ramirez to right field. Betts will watch it go. Harold Ramirez showed up against Clayton Kershaw and gives Tampa Bay a 4-3 lead.
So many guys in this lineup are having career years already in the season, and as an organization and as a roster, the power is absolutely amazing what they are doing. Last year they hit their 100th home run on August 11th. That was their 100th home run already this year.
Number 8 for Ramirez. He's flipped the scoreboard. Here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And Ramirez trying to go back to back. Second strike goes into the seats. Ramirez, beloved in Tampa Bay. The Rays push their home run lead to 100. That's strike 3 called on Arozarena.
When asking around the Rays organization about why so many guys have made such great strides with batting average and power, there's a lot of talk about they've all kind of lowered their hands closer to the strike zone. They've quieted their hands. And so they're shorter and quicker to the ball, but it's in combination with their hip turn and their shoulders that they've got just as much power, but they're making more accurate contact. Better and more barrels.
Brought it back to barrel, Ramirez. You're really happy about it, too. Isaac Paredes, 2 of the 6 strikeouts for Kershaw. Now finds himself down 4-3. Drops in for a strike.
Clayton would like to finish this inning and probably one more. One more from him might mean one more pitcher available tomorrow with the quick turnaround.
Yeah, no stirring in the Dodger bullpen down the left field line yet either.
You have to remember that this Rays bullpen is one of the weaker links of their team. So this is a tight game with a lot left.
Paredes on the ground to short. We'll end the 5th inning. The 2-run blast from Ramirez has flipped the scoreboard. The Dodgers now chasing one. Inside the Box Score brought to you by your Lexus dealers. Max Muncy having a day he ain't done yet. He's off to a great start, 2 for 2, the homer. and a double. 2 stakes, 2 runs scored. RBI double in the 4th inning. He was 1 for his last 24 with runners in scoring position before that. The Dodgers now need him to do some more damage as they trail 4-3. Conversation between Dave Roberts and Clayton Kershaw in the Dodger dugout. We now see the bullpen moving for LA down the left field line. Max gets out of the way of ball 1 from Jake Diekman, who just came into the game for the Rays. It's Yency Almonte who's warming.
The bottom of the order, if Kersh comes back out, is 3 for 8 off of him. I don't know if that has anything to do with the decision, just gives you a little context.
Diekman's numbers on the year between his work with the White Sox and the Rays. He pitched yesterday as well. It was an opener and bullpen day for the Rays.
7 pitches. Just kind of finished off an inning, just a third of an inning, but here he's going to have to go 3 batters. At least.
Once he fouled it straight back, 2-2. We're 2 lefties on the slate with Max starting and Jason Hayward behind him, but Chris Taylor has grabbed a bat and is now on deck for the Dodgers. Muncy, that 2nd inning blast, both within 3 of Pete Alonso for the league lead. 2-2 from Diekman. Max turn, but nearly got him. Wouldn't have.
Well, when you turn that front shoulder, that's actually what you want to do when it's a left-on-left situation, so you don't open up. So you are looking like, oh, I want to get hit by the ball, but you're also practicing the correct mechanic.
Pulled the hands in, pulled to the right side. Diaz will take it himself. That impacted the lumber.
The home run bat will not be used anymore. It's now a souvenir.
Yep. Just as he did last night, Chris Taylor off the bench as a pinch hitter. One for 2 on Friday. Struck out his first time up, then ripped an RBI double. Made it a 7-3 game at the time before the Dodgers gave up a 2-run blast to Jose Siri and lost 9-3. Taylor for Hayward. Big swing, big miss.
Dodgers against lefties this year have not fared at all well in batting average. They are actually 29th with a .211 batting average against left-handers. The slug's not bad, though. They're in the upper half of Major League Baseball as far as slugging percentage off of lefties. So a little bit of all or nothing as far as the Dodgers and hitting left-handed pitchers. Those numbers right there, Chris Taylor's individual stats, lefty versus righty.
Had time granted. He's back in for this 0-2 from Diekman. 3 pitches, 3 strikes.
Change speeds, pulled the string, hits a perfect location. No matter who's on the mound, Bethancourt just sits right down the middle.
Vargas lifts the first pitch to center. Easy play for Siri. Diekman works a 1-2-3-6. The Rays have scored 4 straight, still lead.
The first 40,000 fans on June 13th will receive a special Will Smith bobblehead presented by Security Benefit. For more information, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
A steely Smith bobblehead. Yep, matches the expression he's got right now. The Dodgers down 4-3 in the bottom of the 6th inning. I mean, uncanny.
Well, the bobbleheads are custom made as far as the shape and size, upper body, lower body, the muscle mass, all that. And somebody else was kind of like Will Smith's body build. I think they could use that, but they just erased the smile.
All business right now. Yency Almonte out of the Dodger bullpen will take over for Clayton Kershaw. The Dodgers jumped out to a 3-0 lead after the top of the 4th inning. The Rays have plated a pair in each of their last 2 innings at the plate.
#1 team against sliders that are thrown by right-handers, slug and average. Yency's going to have a good one.
Bethancourt on the line to Peralta. Right now, you get a word from Nissan.
This Dodgers broadcast is brought to you by the 2023 Nissan Rogue. Shop NissanUSA.com.
So the final line for Clayton Kershaw in his first turn off the bereavement list. 5 full, 4 earned on 6 hits, including a home run, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. He's going to need some help from the Dodger offense if he's to avoid a 4th loss in 5 starts now this month. His ERA in May 5.92.
He got off to such a wonderful start in April, and it has been a rocky May. Close in some outings to having good outings, but then they've kind of disintegrated. But you trust Clayton that his next turn he'll give us another good effort.
Home run came in the bottom of the 5th off the bat of Harold Ramirez. 1-1 to Manny Margot. Strike at the top of the zone. Chris Taylor entered as a pinch hitter last inning. Stays in Jason Hayward's spot in the outfield at center. Margot still trying to get his legs underneath him after an unhealthy 2022. 1-2 rip right into the glove of Max Muncy. Last June, Margot suffered a right knee injury. It was a pretty significant patellar tendon strain, but he came back just 2 months later. But his body wasn't right, swing was off, his confidence went away. Speed, which is a big part of his game, that was gone too. And so really worked this offseason to regain that confidence and his mental strength. Tired for the 2nd out of the 6th as Almonte misses low to Walls. Easy fly ball to left. That's a 1-2-3 inning for Yency Almonte. Dodgers get back to work, down 4-3. Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Less than 90 minutes from wherever you are. Good times. It was good times for about 4 innings for the Dodgers today because they were up 3-0 on the Rays. Tampa Bay has scored the last 4 runs, leads by 1. Let's begin the top of the 7th. Colin Poche in from the bullpen. Trace Thompson off the bench as a pinch hitter. (8-9-1) for the Dodgers. Thompson in Peralta's spot. Trace still searching for his first hit since the 17th of April.
O'Shea, another lefty that pitched yesterday, but only a 1/3 of an inning, just 3 pitches. So strategy here is light work for the lefties yesterday, but at least 3 hitters today, and so far that strategy has worked. Dodger lineup looking to get hits off of anyone since Muncy's RBI double back in the 4th. They are 1 for 10.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Thompson getting the call against a left-hander, facing left-handed pitching. This year he's 2 for 36. It's an .056 average, does have 1 home run. He is down swinging here to begin the 7th.
When it rains, it pours. This is a kind of a hanging breaking ball that he just misses.
Bard talking with Brusdar Graterol. Look, the Dodger bullpen, you had the off day, and then only Justin Rule pitched last night. That's a base hit for Miggy Rowe. The bullpen is as rested as it's been in a while.
Finds a hole, and it is good. Artificial surface helps it skid through the infield compared to like some long grass that can grab that ball.
Tying run aboard for Mookie Betts in the beginning of the order.
Mookie with real good, solid contact in his last at bat, and it went to the deepest part of the ballpark other than straightaway center, right by the 378 sign. Would have been a home run at Dodger Stadium.
Glass, we're at the Trop, so it went F7. Would have been a home run in 4 other ballparks in addition to Dodger Stadium. .308 career batting average. Lifetime against the Rays. 2-1. Spiked, bounces away. Rojas will scamper into scoring position.
We've seen the knee down posture behind the plate hurt Tampa Bay an awful lot in this series. It hasn't led to any wins for the Dodgers, but it's definitely led to some advancement from runners, giving up 90 feet. Had a wild pitch today that cost him a run.
Mookie rips it into center field. Rojas is going to score. This game is tied. Betts delivers with a runner in scoring position.
3 for 14 yesterday, 1 for 10 in the last game in Atlanta, and now they get a hit that drives in a run. The Muncy double did it. This one from Mookie did it. String them together.
The Dodgers take advantage of another wild pitch.
That's wild pitch catcher stance for me. I think that adds to the ratio of how many balls get by their catcher, just what they allow as far as getting ready and putting the target up and having that knee down and kind of locks up your hips.
Mookie now with RISP this season, batting .389. Goodness, did they need him there? And he came through. Aboard for his buddy Freddie Freeman. Mookie takes off for second. Bethancourt's throw down, not in time.
Mookie went on first move. Against certain lefties, depending on their move to first base, can they deliver the ball quickly to home? Can they deliver the ball quickly to first if you get picked off? If they're slow both ways, you can go on first move. Even if the ball goes behind you to first base, it's still hard to get you.
Mookie was going to go for third there for a second.
Well, it's a long, lazy leg kick, and especially with a lefty, because when they check you at second base and then turn their head towards home to deliver the pitch. They lose sight of you quicker than a righty.
Mookie's second stolen base, now 4 behind this 5-tool threat that is Freddie Freeman with 6 stolen bases. Strike 2 dotted by Poche. Now Freddie smokes one to left center field. That'll split the outfielders. Get all the way to the wall. Mookie with the slow trot home. The Dodgers hop back in front.
Freddie with his 32nd RBI of the year. Doesn't do too much. Just left center, left on left. Dodgers trying to turn game 3 into the rubber game of the match if they can put a W on the board here tonight.
Freddie with his second double today and his 11th multi-hit game in his last 16 games overall. 5's on fire. Bethancourt can't handle that one. And he saw Kyle Snyder in his most recent visit with Poche. He turned to Bethancourt and hit him on the chest protector. And it looked like he was telling him, hey, like, it's all right, but
it's just down. That's just barely hits his hip. But can you imagine if he had a little wider stance, got real low, and had both knees up? Bethancourt is not completely healthy. Maybe he's got a back issue. Maybe there's a knee issue on the one side where he puts it down or leaves it up. But it's not a posture that you recommend to catchers.
Now Smith, bouncer right back at Poche, who got a piece of it with his glove. He gets the second out. He's bigger in stature. He's listed at 6'3".
It's something that we've seen in 2 games is a glaring weakness. It doesn't mean he's going to stop every single one that's in the dirt, but he's definitely going to have a higher percentage of keeping the ball in front of him.
Two strikeouts today for JD, bookending a double in the 4th. The 0-2 to Martinez. JD puts it on the ground to short. Plays made by Franco. But the Dodgers score 2. Jump out to a 5-4 lead. Mookie brought in Miggy Rowe. Freddie followed suit by scoring Betts. Now the Dodger bullpen will try to hang on.
Join us at Dodger Stadium June 2nd through the 4th as the Dodgers take on the New York Yankees. You can't miss it. For more information, visit Dodgers.com/tickets.
Some changes in the outfield for the Dodgers. Trace Thompson now in center because Taylor was there as he took over for Jason Hayward. Taylor shifting over to left, where last night he made 2 incredible catches at the wall. The bazooka comes in. Is Siri, Diaz, and Franco on the docket. Brusdar take that strike one call. Strike two to even the count against one of the fastest players in Major League Baseball, Jose Siri, based on the sprint speed metric. It's top 10.
Usually there's just one top 10 player around the league, and you don't see them all the time on the same field. So when you see him play and run, you go, well, that's got to be the fastest guy, right? Because you have nothing to compare him to until you go see Trey Turner or somebody else.
Yeah, I think Rick told us last night he was tied for 10th or 10th. And you're like, can you name 9 guys faster than that?
And there are.
Yeah.
Corbin Carroll,
Bobby Witt Jr., Trey Turner's up there. The 3-2. Siri battles it into the sweets.
It's kind of when you see Brusdar throw and you go, who can throw harder than this guy? You know, it's just get those top end guys, and it's very impressive.
Couple of shakes before pitch number 8 to Siri. Yandy Diaz watching patiently from the on-deck circle. A lot to watch here. And finally, Graterol puts Siri down.
98 with some movement. You're going to love this. Velocity's one thing. Having velocity that can get off the barrel with this movement. Take a look at the end of that pitch. It goes from outer half to inner half.
.98 for strike one to Diaz. And Brusdar makes him look silly.
98 to 88, bending it the opposite way. So the movement from the fastball makes this look much bigger of a break, because you've got 8-10 inches going one direction, and then you go 8-10 inches the other direction, and then you take 10-mile-an-hour off. You try and hit it.
Fouled away by Yandy Diaz. And it's worth highlighting because this is a batter you don't see that against. You don't see him flail. Another 2-strike pitch coming. This time Diaz did not bite.
Good take. Anticipation of a fastball, which you have to do when you're throwing 98, and then being able to react to the break and hold up.
Grounded to short and handled by Rojas. And so Diaz, who entered today leading all of Major League Baseball in on-base slugging and OPS. Right now he's 0 for. I said there are 2 big influences on Wander Franco, but I never revealed the names. One was his neighbor. His neighbor was a guy that Wander labeled it as his idol, and that man's name was Jose Ramirez. Left side of the infield, switch hitter. And when Ramirez dyed his hair blonde, Franco did the same thing as a youngster, so that was one. And then the number for whom he chose his number 5. A legend in the Dominican Republic. Dodger fans know him as Tio Albert Pujols. Jam shot. Pop to the left side. Max calls everybody off. Brusdar, Graterol sends the Rays down 1-2-3. Still a 5-4 game. Nissan calendar. What's up next for the Dodgers? Breakfast and baseball on Sunday, 8:30 a.m. back in LA. First pitch. Watch that game on Peacock, or Hershiser will be a part of the crew. And then it's a flight home for the Dodgers for a 3-game set with the Washington Nationals. We'll be back with you on Sportsnet LA. The other Kelly in the Tampa Bay bullpen, Trevor Kelly, against Max Muncy. A frisbee for a strike. Kelly, an interesting look. Former North Carolina Tar Heel. Josh Bard would enjoy hearing that. Michael Bush. It's in front of Max Muncy. Got a piece of that. Strike 2. Ooh. Evan Phillips back in Tampa Bay. Getting loose now as a visitor.
3, 4, and 5 coming up for Evan Phillips if he's coming in the game. It's the heart of the order where they probably wanted to deploy him.
Muncy down swinging.
Trevor Kelly's had plenty of rest. He opened against Toronto 4 days ago, and those were 2 scoreless innings and a couple of hits. The last couple outings he has been scoreless, and trying to do that here to keep Tampa within 1.
Dodgers were up 3-0 in this game. Tampa then scored the next 4 to lead 4-3. The Dodgers scored twice in the 7th, reclaimed the advantage, leading by 1 in an effort to even this 3-game series against the best team in Major League Baseball. And we've talked about the similarities, especially the last handful of years since they met the World Series in 2020. I mean, going back to the beginning of that shortened season, 2 best records in baseball. The Dodgers 1, the Rays 2. The differences in payroll, but these 2 organizations are linked in sort of their mindset, right? Andrew Friedman, of course, spent a number of years here heading things up with baseball operations department. He here for this series was sharing a suite with his old co-worker Eric Neander. Chris Taylor did not go.
Well, there's a couple of ways to skin a cat, and you've got a small market team and a big market team, and the Dodgers are more looking for the celebrity players that are really executing and are not afraid to spend some money on them and lock them up or trade for them at the trade deadline, where Tampa Bay is more of homegrown guys. And they're really good homegrown guys because when they grow up and get close to free agency, they don't wait till the very last year to trade these guys. They trade them a year prior than most organizations where they have their most value. And so they keep replenishing their minor league system. And we keep seeing these guys without resumes coming up from their minor league system with tremendous ability and executing right away.
That brings us to another similarity in how these 2 organizations view the importance of scouting, drafting, and developing, and making sure that the system is always replenished. I mean, just because the Dodgers are in a big market doesn't mean that they've abandoned that part of success. In fact, it's a huge part. That's why their farm system remains, top the league.
It's an extra tool for the Dodgers, where it is the foundational tool for the Rays.
James Outman ready to pinch hit if Miguel Vargas can get on base here.
And the Dodgers can take a guy that might be tradable and they're getting offers on right down to the few days before their last few days that they would become a free agent if they go past that deadline.
Well, Vargas hits it hard to left field. Miguel Vargas has the Dodger lead. That's number 5 in a 6-4 game.
Speaking of production from young players coming up to the big leagues, right on cue, Miguel Vargas.
Hit the ball hard here in the month of May. A 2-run cushion. The Dodgers in the 8th.
When you're playing a team like Tampa Bay that's hit their 100th home run in this game and this early in the season, that extra run is really comfortable for Evan Phillips coming into the game.
Ten of his last 17 knocks have gone for extra bases. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Outman. Pinch hitting for Trace Thompson.
The right-handers against this delivery, you're trying not to flinch because the ball's coming from behind your back. The lefties are trying to determine if it's a strike, and that was.
The 3rd strikeout for Kelly, but a home run from Vargas. So the former Ray, Evan Phillips, will come in with a 2-run lead. 6 outs to go for the Dodgers to even this series up. Coming up after the game, Access Sports and the Dodgers with John Hartung and the fellows Jerry Hairston Jr. and Aegon Adrian Gonzalez. Jay Hair finished strong. Amen. And Dodgers going to try and do that with a 2-run lead thanks to that man, Miguel Vargas. Vargas' 5th home run of the year. James Outman now in center, the 4th center fielder for the Dodgers' last 4 innings. Working behind Evan Phillips.
Evan is a very streaky pitcher, and usually the streaks are long as far as the hot ones, and you can see that opponent's batting average 169 this year. This is not a save situation, but he has had outings where he's had 3 consecutive saves in a row. That was from May 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Facing his former organization. He's DFA'd by the Rays back in August of 2021. A couple days later, the Dodgers picked him up. He's certainly found a home at the back end of the Dodger bullpen, found back by Ramirez. It was 2 hits tonight, including a 2-run home run in the 5th that gave Tampa the 4-3 lead at the time. Got a piece. You see the blue hair for Harold Ramirez. And the story behind that is important and emotional for the Ramirez family. So he and his wife Adriana have a son, Elian, who was diagnosed with autism a couple years ago. So Harold dyed his hair blue to raise awareness to support those with autism. And on his right hand there's a tattoo of a puzzle piece, which is a popular symbol for autism, as he bounces one to third base and Max Muncy. And the words next to that puzzle piece, "It's okay to be different." You see the hair and the tattoo on his right hand. And Ramirez tells everybody that Elian's journey has made him more compassionate, more empathetic. And last weekend, the Rays hosted Autism Awareness Day here at the Trop. It was last Sunday, and the giveaway that day was a blue wig for Harold, Elian, and the Ramirez family. He's the first out of the 8th. There's Randy Arozarena. Strike 2 from Phillips. Against a player who was tour de force in the 2020 postseason and the 2023 World Baseball Classic. And Phillips dispatches him on 3 pitches.
You know, you mentioned autism, and teammate of mine and his wife, Jim and Kathy Gott, they do an awful lot for kids back in LA in a place called Danny's Farm, where Danny's Farm is actually where they bring the animals in. And one of the things with autism it's really hard is once a kid is through high school, it's hard to get employed, but they employ the autistic young adults and have them feel some more self-esteem, earn some money, and really keep them involved with society. And it's a really good cause that I've helped out a little bit. So that kind of touched my heart when you talked about Harold Ramirez.
I used the word beloved earlier to describe Harold Ramirez, and that rings true for everybody in the Rays organization. I remember Shane McClanahan telling me last year, you never see Harold have a bad day, ever. And that's impacted by his sons, Elian and Ethan, their younger boy, and Adriana. That's hit hard in the left field. 2-out base hit for Isaac Paredes. And something else Ramirez has talked about within that journey is just how life-changing it was when Elian was officially diagnosed, and why that's important to families. I mean, on a human level, it doesn't matter. A human's a human who deserves love and respect no matter what. Right. But when you have a child who they find to be with autism, the access to treatments in school. So they were able to get Elian into a school now, and he was mostly nonverbal. But now, based on the access that the Ramirez family has found, Elian's learned not just English, but Spanish. So that's the importance of it and why it's on his heart every single day to raise awareness. And so we tip our cap to Harold Ramirez and the Rays organization for work they did last weekend. So right now, a mound visit from Mark Prior is the tying run's going to come to the plate. It'll be a pinch hitter, Josh Lowe, one of the breakout sluggers on this Tampa Bay roster. Hitting .306 on the year with a .970 OPS, 11 home runs, 12 doubles, also a stolen base threat should he get on. He's got 10 bags.
You know, back home, there's a beloved member of the Dodger family, R.J. Peete, who works in the clubhouse, Rodney Peete's son, and he is a fantastic member of that group and is unbelievably loved by this Dodger team and front office.
A few families love the Dodgers more than the Petes.
Yeah.
One ball, one strike on Lowe. A 25-year-old who grew up in Georgia, a hotbed for baseball talent. Jason Hayward can attest to that. Phillips, 1-1. Oh, like he got the top of the zone. It was called a ball. Changes the count. Things even up with that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes in a number of ways. The biggest thing for Lowe this year has been working with Chad Mottola, the excellent hitting coach for the Rays in the offseason, just trying to be more relaxed. Struggled last year, but never lost confidence in himself, and he's put that on display in 2023. Phillips with the 2-2. Popped up. Shallow left. Rojas called off by Taylor, who has it. Phillips strands a run, keeping the Dodgers in front by 2. I have it on good authority that if the Dodgers were to win the last 2 games of this series, Orel Hershiser said that he will jump into the aquarium out in right center field tomorrow to swim with those Rays.
That's why we didn't do the booth hit, so they couldn't see my face while you said that.
Spreading vicious rumors. I would never. Dodgers 6, Rays 4. Clash of 2 of baseball's titans here at the Trop. Francisco Mejia. Now behind the plate is Lowe, pinch hit for Bethancourt last inning.
If I'm not mistaken, this is the first pitcher that we get a low target with, right down the middle still again, but with the sidearm action. Oh no, he's going to go up. Oh no, he's going down. It's like, wow, it's been changing it up. There's nobody on second. You don't have anybody to deke.
Fergie getting loose. Be the bottom of the Rays order. Due up in the 9th inning. Rojas, the ground ball to third. One down. So, with Kevin Cash calling on Josh Lowe last inning, what's left on the bench are 2 left-handed bats and Brandon Lau and Luke Raley, the Dodgers' old friend. And Mejia switch hitters into the game, but his spot's passed. Last time we saw Mookie Betts in the batter's box, he tied the game with an RBI base hit. Softly flied to right. Margot's waiting for it. And then after Mookie tied the game, this man gave the Dodgers the lead.
Well, the Muncy home run is one thing, but they are 3 for 8 with runners in scoring position today, so much better batting average with the wrist.
That includes this man's RBI double. Now his 30 extra base hits this year. Nobody in baseball has more.
Sometimes you say a guy's in the top 10 in a lot of categories. Not a lot of times you say he's first or second in a lot of categories.
Yeah, those numbers play.
Yep.
So, you know, let me try and slow down there, Oral. You know what Freddie always says is, you know, you and Joe called his 300th home run earlier on this road trip. Like he doesn't, not a home run guy. Like he'd rather have 3 singles than 1 home run.
He's an RBI guy, and those situations, there are no situations that get too big for him. But he does understand when to cut it loose. When, you know, 2 out, nobody on, down by a run, he'll go for it. He'll let it go. But if all of a sudden that count where he's let it go to a couple pitches and now he's in a 2-strike count, he's like, all right, now I got to back off, try and get on base for the next guy. Well, he was cheating right there. 2 out, nobody on, 3-1 count, and he got a breaking ball. It's easy to recognize a situational hitter when they end up being productive.
The payoff that he spoils.
So many people in the lineup are hitting for the team and trying to be situational hitters, but if they don't succeed, it's hard to emphasize the fact that, well, he was thinking about that. But with Freddie, you can say this is the situation, and you can watch him perform.
Master of his craft. Another 3-2. That's ball 4. 4th time he's been aboard today.
He just understands it's time to pass the baton. The same pitch 3-1 that he swung and was kind of upset with himself because he was cheating in. 3-2 gets that pitch and takes the walk. We've started to see Will get a lot of success getting base hits to right as their defense swings around to the pull side. He has taken his ground ball base hits to the right side an awful lot on this trip. It's not one he wanted.
No. Check swing, dribbled foul, 0-2. His 24th walk of the season back in the 1st inning. He's 0 for since. 24 walks, so twice as many walks as strikeouts.
Be surprised if Freddie feels okay that he might take off here. Very quick delivery to the plate. The math doesn't work out for Freddie's speed right here with the abbreviated leg kick and the quick release from the mound.
A 2-2 pitch driven to center by Will Smith. Siri hustling at the wall. He leaps and makes the catch and then spikes the ball for good measure. Using those wheels for the last out of the 9th inning. 6-4 to the bottom half. Dodgers to lead. Your plays of the game brought to you by your Southern California Volkswagen dealers. All came in the 7th inning. Miguel Rojas going to second on a wild pitch. Then Mookie Betts making the Rays pay. Ties the game with a base hit. Then Freddie Freeman followed. Number 5 on a furious run. RBI double made it a 5-4 Dodger lead. Miguel Vargas tacked on another with a home run in the 8th. So it's a 2-run cushion for Evan Phillips against 7, 8, and 9 in the Tampa Bay lineup.
Still Phillips for now, but Ferguson is warmed and ready. Phillips at 18 pitches.
Margot is 1 for 3. RBI single in the 4th.
This pitch needs to be right down Wilshire Boulevard. Challenging.
That's a fastball for a strike.
He was in the right-hand turn lane, but he was on the street.
Big swing, big miss, 2-2.
Lane change for a strike. This is the middle.
Two strikes on a hitter who's hitting the ball a lot harder this year. But his run doesn't hurt you. Tap it to the left or right side. Vargas handles it. 1 away.
Phillips did 2 really good things right there. The pitch and then pulling his glove out of the way, knowing where his fielders are.
Dave Roberts going to make a move. Phillips at 22 pitches. 2 more outs to get. See if Caleb Ferguson can get him when we come back.
Caleb Ferguson takes over here in the 9th. And when you talk about Caleb Ferguson, he has been outstanding this year. You see that ERA under 1. Well, the main pitch that has had that ERA so low, his cutter. The league is 2 for 26 off of it. He does have a save this year. It was back in against San Diego. May 13th. It was quite an environment.
See splits for Taylor Walls, a switch hitter. Much better against left-handed pitching. Flip to the right side. 1 out in the 9th. Dodgers up 2. One and 2 for Ferguson.
That's a perfect pitch. Hollow of the knee. It's not your kneecap. It's that place right below the kneecap, the hollow.
Walls fouled it to the backstop. Jose Siri on deck for the Rays. With 2 strikes. Walls puts it into left center and takes second base. The throw in won't be in time.
Good breaking ball, actually lower than the one where he dotted that same corner. He goes down and gets it in the air. You expect the ball that low. Most hitters hit it on the ground ball to shortstop, but he gets it in the air and gets himself a double. Stays out of the double play possibility.
It's a big base taken by Walls. Right-handed Siri. Like Walls, better against left-handers. He represents the potential tying run for the Rays. Ferguson checks on Walls. Comes home to Siri. Count even.
These 2 hitters, when flipped around to the right side, are better against left-handed pitching. But I think with Evan Phillips, it was only the 2nd time this year that he's gone 1+. And they were watching his pitch count.
Sprayed foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Ferguson has, of course, been better against lefties this year. Not a reverse splits guy at all. But righties have hit him almost to the 300 clip. I think this is a workload management, try and get the W situation.
Strike 3 swinging. Siri slams his bat, then breaks it. 2 down.
Siri and the lumber go down.
Hey Siri, is that bat broken? Yep. Now Yandy Diaz. Strike 1.
Siri answered yes, of course.
I'm sorry. '97, well high to the dangerous Diaz. Two balls and a strike against one of the best hitters in baseball this season. If there's anybody else Kevin Cash or the Rays fans in attendance would rather have up there than Yandy Diaz. The 2-1 from Ferguson is high.
It's an interesting first base open because you have power throughout this lineup, so you don't really want to put the winning run on first base.
Three and two.
Strength against strength. A little tailing action, but a heater for sure, trying to land in the strike zone, and does, and misses the bat.
Rays down to the last strike. Hold on to your butts. Here's the payoff from Ferguson. Do it again. Dodgers lead 6-4, 2 out, bottom 9. Tying run at the plate. Another 3-2 from Ferguson. Yandy shoots it down the right field line. That will slice foul.
It was a drive, but it was OB. A little too much slice.
The 8th pitch from Ferguson to Diaz is ball 4. Just missed.
What a great take. The swing starts, but it gets shut down. It just disengages. Not as many people in the ballpark as there was in San Diego when he got his first save this year. But it's just as loud as we're indoors, and they are letting them have it as far as the noise level.
23,443 the announced attendance here at Tropicana Field.
Just echoing off the ceiling.
Tying run on base. And the young sensation Wander Franco. You see his numbers against lefties.
You're trying to get him out with your pitch selection, of course, but you're also looking at pitch selection that keeps him in the ballpark. So the difference between something might be a red zone where you want to avoid, but it might be just a place where there's less damage.
Former Dodgers farmhand Luke Raley will pinch run for Yandy Diaz. He wanted some drama in a close game in a World Series rematch from 2020. Well, you maybe didn't want that, but you get it.
Pay attention to the base runner at second. You do not want a double steal. You've got to divide your attention until you know the running game is in place. And then you concentrate on the pitch.
Strike one levels the count.
Went no look right there. You got to think twice when a hitter takes a fastball like that. Is he sitting on something with spin?
Shot foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He was looking for spin late on another fastball that you could drive.
So after that take and that foul ball, you're thinking,
well, if he throws the breaking ball or the cutter, he's got to make it for a ball down and in. If he stays heater, he can go up the ladder.
Ferguson's 1-2 high and outside.
The velocity tells me that if he gets beat, it's because it's to the opposite field. They're not trying to give him anything to pull.
Little looper into center. Drops in front of Outman. 1 run scores. It's a 1-run game.
It's a good pitch. Breaking ball down. It doesn't get all the way in, but it's off the end of the bat, so it's a cue shot, and it's hard to read out there. James Outman, they are playing extra deep because they don't want any doubles in the gap to score the runner from first. So because they were playing deep, no doubles, you're not going to catch a ball like that.
Comes down to Harold Ramirez with Rays at the corner. 2 out in the bottom of the 9th. First pitch swinging and it's fouled back. This is in the 5th inning.
A home run opposite field. He backspins this ball out of here. He knew it was gone as soon as he hit it.
Time called to dust off home plate. Tying run on third base, winning run on first. Ferguson to Ramirez, a bouncer to second. Vargas steps on second and ends the game. That's a win for the Dodgers in dramatic fashion. 6-5 the final.
Artificial turf almost turned that into a tie game, but Ferguson escapes and the Dodgers escape with their 15th comeback victory of the year.
After being a strike away from a victory on back-to-back hitters, a walk and a single extended the game. Finally, Ferguson closes out Tampa Bay to even this 3-game series. Not enough drama for one weekend. This weekend ain't done. You got to wake up bright and early on Sunday to listen to Oral Brandenburg, Brian Anderson, and the Peacock crew call this series finale. We'll be back with you on Sportsnet LA at home against the Nationals. For Oral, Kirsten, and our crew, I'm Steven. We'll see you on Monday from Dodger Stadium.